Namaste, Hamesha Kushro Bitia. I am JVN Dr. Minakshi, Assistant Professor in Department of Shalakya Tantra, Faculty of Ayurvedic Science, Jyoti Vidyapith Women's University. Today in this session, we will discuss a type of conjunctivitis, which is the allergic conjunctivitis. So, what is allergic conjunctivitis? It is the inflammation of conjunctiva due to allergic or hypersensitive reactions, which may be immediate, humoral, or delayed, means cellular. The conjunctiva is 10 times more sensitive than the skin to allergies. So, next are the what are the types of allergic conjunctivitis? Uh, First is the simple allergic conjunctivitis, in which there are three types: hay fever conjunctivitis, seasonal allergic conjunctivitis, perennial allergic conjunctivitis. The second type of conjunctivitis is the vernal keratoconjunctivitis. Third is the atopic keratoconjunctivitis. Fourth is the giant papillary conjunctivitis. Fifth is the flectanular keratoconjunctivitis, and sixth is the contact dermoconjunctivitis. So first we will study the simple allergic conjunctivitis. It is a mild non-specific allergic conjunctivitis characterized by itching, hyperemia and mild papillary response. Basically it is an acute or subacute urticarial reaction. Then etiology of simple allergic conjunctivitis, it is seen in following forms like hay fever conjunctivitis, seasonal allergic conjunctivitis and the perennial allergic conjunctivitis. Though hay fever conjunctivitis is commonly associated with hay fever or allergic conjunctivitis, the common allergens are pollens, grass, and animal dandruff. Whereas the seasonal allergic conjunctivitis is a response to seasonal allergens such as grass, pollens. It is a very common occurrence. The perennial allergic conjunctivitis is a response to perennial allergens such as house dust and mite. It is not so common. Then the pathology. The pathological features of the simple allergic conjunctivitis comprise the vascular, cellular, and conjunctival responses. The vascular response is characterized by sudden and extreme dilatation, vasodilation, and increased permeability of vessels leading to exudation. Then the second point is the cellular response is in the form of conjunctival infiltration and exudation in the discharge of eosinophils, plasma cells, and mast cells, producing histamine and histamine-like substances. Third is the conjunctival response is in the form of boggy swelling of conjunctiva followed by increased connective tissue formation and mild papillary hyperplasia. Then comes the clinical picture of simple allergic conjunctivitis. The symptoms include the intense itching and burning sensation in the eyes associated with watery discharge and mild photophobia. Signs are the hyperemia and chemosis, which give a swollen juicy appearance to the conjunctiva, and conjunctiva may also show mild papillary reaction, and there is edema of the lids. Diagnosis is made from the typical symptoms and signs and normal conjunctival flora and presence of abundant eosinophils in the discharge. Then the treatment of simple allergic conjunctivitis. First is the elimination of allergens if possible. Second is the local palliative measures which provide immediate relief include vasoconstrictors like adrenaline, ephedrine, and nefazolin. Second is the sodium chromoglycate drops are very effective in preventing recurrent atopic cases. And steroid eye drops should be avoided. However, these may be prescribed for short duration in severe and non-responsive patients. Third is the systemic antihistamines drugs are used in acute cases with marked itching. And the fourth is a desensitization has been tried without much rewarding results. However, a trial may be given in recurrent cases. The second type of allergic conjunctivitis is the vernal keratoconjunctivitis or the spring catarrh. It is a recurrent bilateral interstitial self-limiting allergic inflammation of the conjunctiva having a periodic seasonal incidence. Then the etiology of the vernal keratoconjunctivitis, it is considered as a hypersensitivity reaction to some exogenous allergens such as grass pollen. This VKC is thought to be an atopic allergic disorder in many cases in which IgE-mediated mechanisms play an important role. Such patients may give personal or family history of other atopic diseases such as hay fever, asthma, or eczema, and their peripheral blood shows the eosinophilia and increased serum IgE levels. Then the predisposing factors of vernal keratoconjunctivitis, age and sex. The age is 40 to 20 years and more common in boys than girls. Then season, more common in summer, hence the name spring catarrh looks a misnomer. Recently it is being labeled as warm weather conjunctivitis. Then climate, more prevalent in tropics, less in temperate zones, and almost non-existent in cold climate. Then the pathology of the vernal keratoconjunctivitis. The conjunctival epithelium undergoes hyperplasia and sends downward projections into the subepithelial tissue. The adenoid layer shows marked cellular infiltration by eosinophils, plasma cells, lymphocytes, and histiocytes. The fibrous layer shows proliferation which later on undergoes hyaline changes. The conjunctival vessel shows proliferation, increased permeability, and vasodilation. All these pathological changes lead to the formation of multiple papillae in the upper tarsal conjunctiva. Then the clinical picture. The symptoms of vernal keratoconjunctivitis are spring catarrh is characterized by marked burning and itching sensation which is usually intolerable and accentuated when patient comes in a warm humid atmosphere. Itching is more marked with palpable form of disease. Other associated symptoms include mild photophobia, lacrimation, stringy ropey discharge, and heaviness of lids. Then the signs of vernal keratoconjunctivitis can be described in the three clinical forms. The palpebral form, usually upper tarsal conjunctiva, both eyes is involved. The typical lesion is characterized by the presence of hard, flat-topped papillae arranged in a cobblestone or pavement stone fashion. In severe cases, papillae may hypertrophy to produce cauliflower-like excrescences of giant papillae. Conjunctival changes are associated with white ropey discharge. The second form is the bulbar form. It is characterized by dusky and triangular congestion of bulbar conjunctiva and palpebral area, gelatinous thickened accumulation of tissue around the limbus, and presence of discrete whitish raised dots along the limbus, which are called the Trenta spots. And the third form is a mixed form. It shows the combined features of both palpebral and bulbar forms. This in image you can see the hornal Trenta spots which are present in the bulbar form. They are present at the raised dots at the limbal area. Next is the corneal involvement in VKC or the vernal keratopathy. The corneal involvement in VKC may be primary or secondary due to the extension of limbal lesions. Vernal keratopathy includes following five types of lesions. First is the punctate epithelial keratitis involving the upper cornea is usually associated with palpebral form of disease, and the lesions always stain with rose bengal and invariably with fluorescent dye. Second type of lesions are the ulcerative vernal keratitis or shield ulceration. They are present as a shallow transverse ulcer in upper part of cornea. The ulceration results due to epithelial macroerosions. It is a serious problem which may be complicated by bacterial keratitis. Third type of lesion is the vernal corneal plaques result due to coating of bare areas of epithelial microerosions with a layer of altered exudates. The next type of lesions are the subepithelial scarring occurs in the form of a ring scar. Then the fifth type of lesion is the pseudogerontoxin, which is characterized by a classical Cupid's bow outline. Clinical course of disease is often self-limiting and usually burns out spontaneously after 5 to 10 years. Here is an image of the vernal keratoconjunctivitis, a shield ulcer, limbal gelatinous nodules, Trantas dots, and superior cobblestone papillae. The severe inflammatory disease usually has seasonal recurrence. It is characterized by intense itching, tearing, mucus secretion, and photophobia. And the differential diagnosis, palpable form of VKC needs to be differentiated from the trachoma with predominant papillary hypertrophy. Then the treatment, we should go for the local therapy, the systemic therapy, the treatment of large papillae, general measures, and desensitization and treatment of vernal keratopathy. So in this first local therapy, we should give the topical steroids. We are effective in all forms. Use should be minimal and for short duration. Frequent stilling to tapering within few days, and fluoromethanol, dexamethanol, loprednol can be given, and we can give the mast cell stabilizers such as sodium chromoglycate and azelastine eye drops, retotifin, and topical antihistaminics are also effective. And acetylcysteine 0.5% used topically, and topical cyclosporin drugs should be used. Systemic therapy, we can give oral antihistaminics and oral steroids. Oral steroids should be given in severe cases for short duration. And then the treatment of the large papillae, the supratarsal injection of long-acting steroid should be given. We can go for the cryo application and the surgical excision for extraordinary large papillae. Then the general measures are the dark goggles to prevent photophobia, cold compresses and ice packs have soothing effect, and change of environment from the hot to cold area is recommended for recalcitrant cases, and desensitization is of not so much rewarding results. Avoiding results and treatment of vernal keratopathy and punctate epithelial keratitis, steroid instillation should be increased. In the large vernal plaque, surgical lamellar keratectomy should be done. And in the severe shield ulcer, um, we should go for the surgical treatment in the form of debridement, superficial keratectomy, and amniotic membrane transplantation. Thank you so much. Here the session of allergic conjunctivitis part 1 has been completed. This session is covered by digital version 2.0, Jyoti Vidyapith Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box. I will resolve it soon. Thank you so much. An image, you can see they have shown the shape of the eyeball, which is oblate spheroid, and they have shown the anterior pole on the left side and the posterior pole on the right side, as you can see. And there is a meridian, there is geometric equator, geometric axis, you have vertical diameter. So the eyeball is surrounded by the facial sheath, which is known as a Tannen capsule. The eyeball is formed of segments of two spheres, anterior transparent smaller and the posterior opaque, and it is larger. Anterior pole is the center of curvature of anterior segment, and posterior pole is the center of curvature of posterior segment. The equator lies midway between the two poles. Here is a clear image in which you can see the anterior pole, posterior pole. Then what is an equator? Equator is an imaginary line about the eyeball, which is the equidistant from the poles. We have two poles, the anterior pole and posterior poles, and between the two poles there is a imaginary line perpendicular to the line joining the two poles, which is equidistant from the both the poles. Then what is meridian? It is one of many lines passing from pole to pole that intersects the equator at right angles. Then what is optic nerve? It leaves the eyeball slightly ventral to the posterior pole. Then comes the coats and the contents of the eyeball. There are three coats of the eyeball. First one is the outer protective layer, which is called the fibrous coat. It uh, comprises of cornea and sclera. Cornea is a clear structure and the junction of the cornea and sclera is known as limbus. Second layer is the middle vascular layer, and it has three layers: iris, ciliary body and choroid. Third coat is the inner nervous layer, which is known as the retina. So here completes the anatomy of the eyeball. In the next lecture we will discuss the different coats of the eyeball. Thank you so much. This session is powered by Digital Version 2.0, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with this digital session. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box. I will resolve it. Thank you.